Hey, what's up, guys? This is Halfway broadcasting from around the world in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Today, guys, I was getting out of my last class that I was teaching. Like I spoke to you about before in one of my other videos, I'm teaching remotely now at a separate location from my school. It's through my school, but I'm teaching remotely. So I was getting out of that class, and so this is around 5 o'clock, and it just started raining, like as soon as I was getting out of the class. And then it started raining rather heavily. So I decided this was a pretty decent time to test out the capabilities of the water-resistant feature of my GoPro. So I went ahead and threw it on my helmet and started riding out. So I'm going to take you guys on a short ride heading back toward my house. This is not the full trip of me heading home, but just a segment of my experience heading home. It's also giving you guys a different look as opposed to in the morning when I'm driving without traffic compared to driving home with a lot of traffic in the rain. So I'm going to give you guys some views and we will see some things with that. As well as I'm still working on the What's Poppin' in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, or What's Poppin' in Phnom Penh videos. So those videos, if you're unaware, you can look on my YouTube channel. It's called What's Poppin' in Phnom Penh. And I did create a playlist for that. There's only one video right now. So the goal of that video is to give you guys an opportunity to see some things that are going on, some like events and different things that are happening in Phnom Penh. So if you're trying to do something other than, just going out to the bar or just, doing regular things that you always do, different activities and groups that exist here and different things that you can do. So I'm still working on those videos. I wanted it to be a once weekly thing is what I really wanted it to be. And hopefully I will still be able to get to that goal. As of right now, I'm realizing that it's, again, far more time consuming than I could possibly do for a once a week thing. Between my school, between helping my girlfriend with the Commute classes, between just making YouTube videos and everything else that's going on in my personal life, there's just not enough time. There's just literally not enough time. And it's funny because I used to think that I was busy. I really did. I thought I was a relatively busy person. But recently I just have no time. I just don't have much time. Like I talked about in the other video, I do have maybe, 3 hours every day, right? When I come home that I can completely unwind and have those few hours to myself. And usually on Saturday, I still have a little bit of time. So maybe even in the future, I'll make another video where I'm like, oh my God, I used to think I had no time, and now I really, really have no time. But I don't necessarily want to get to that point because there has to be a point when you have like a work-life balance. It's very important, and just always doing things without having any personal time can also become monotonous and add extra stress to your life. Of course, in life, there's good stress and there's bad stress. So obviously bad stress are things that are negatively happening in your life. I don't know. The worst kind of bad stress is like, people dying that you're close to. After that, maybe losing a job or getting, maybe ahead of that, maybe even, getting very sick or something bad happening to your health, losing a, important job. So those are negative kinds of stress. But then there's also positive stress when you have, maybe like in a situation where I'm in right now where I have a lot going on, but there's a lot of potential and there's a lot of benefit coming out of those things. So there is negative stress and positive stress in life. But you still have to have some point in life when you don't have stress. Because if it's just all stress, even if it's positive stress, it still gets to you. It still wears you down. It still breaks you down. It makes you tired. It makes you grumpy. I actually feel bad today. I've been I'm saying, I've just been very stressed and tired. And I had an altercation. I don't know if I want to say an altercation, but I had an argument with another teacher in our teacher lounge today, and it was probably over for some bullshit. And we, apologized and they made up. it was one of the like the female Khmer teachers who is also a English teacher, and she also works in our main office. So she teaches a couple hours a day, but then she also has a administrative role, I guess you could say, within the company. I'm not going to get into all the details, but I had this like snap thing that something happened, and I instantly just lost my cool for a minute, which is something that I usually really don't do. But I think I will attribute it maybe to a little bit of the added stress that I'm under for me to have reacted in the way that I did, and I feel a little bit bad. So again, just to say that, it's important to have that work-life balance. So anyway, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But here we are driving down. Again, we're on Mao Zedong. And of course, my phone is totally freezing again. So I'm hoping that this is working. It looks like it looks like that it is. So if you're wondering about riding the moto in Phnom Penh, is it scary? Is it dangerous? Is it annoying? Is it nerve-wracking to go back? Is it stressful? Not really. In the beginning. So when you first start riding, especially if you're coming from like a Western country, I've spoken about before the laws of the road. Well, the laws of the road are technically the same, but there's a lot more leeway, which is another video that I want to get. I know I think I've mentioned making a video like this before, but it's just some of my ideas and philosophies have changed since I've come to Cambodia, and a lot of it is I always think of analogies to Phnom Penh traffic as to just the general culture and lifestyle here compared to being in my home country, which is the United States of America. And sometimes how things seem like chaotic and disorganized comparatively. However, at the end of the day, sometimes I feel like it's more efficient and more effective the way that things operate here in some ways, not in all ways. But I think that when you compare it to the traffic, when you have this, there's rules, but they can be bent and they can be broken. And as long as you are not actually hurting anybody, as long as you are not actually causing any real problem, then these rules can be bent, negotiated, slid sideways, and be taken care of. And it's almost like the level of freedom here in the day-to-day life, in your daily activities, is absolutely greater than the good old US of A, the king of freedom. But in daily life here and regular just day-to-day living, there is absolutely far more freedom. And I again think of that as an analogy toward the traffic. That's one example. But I have a few ideas of some videos that I eventually I'm going to bring those to light. I'm just kind of thinking about it now, actually, while I'm